Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make this baby dress. It's for 3 to 6 months old. We've got bean stitch and double crochet, and we've also got single crochet. So I'm going to show you what you're going to need for this video. So for this tutorial you're going to need a tape measure, a pair of scissors, some buttons, a needle and a 4mm hook. The yarn we're going to be using today are both double knit, 100 grams both balls, and I'm going to be using lilac and white. But for your dress, if you wanted to, you can just do one colour all the way through, but I'm going to use 2 colours to show people who don't know how to change their colours midway. So before we get started, I just want to show you this diagram that I've just drew up to help us with the yoke. So we're going to make a yoke that's 56 chains long, and then we're going to chain an extra 2. Then we're going to put 8 double crochets. Then we're going to make a corner, 10 double crochets, corner, 16 double crochets, corner, 10 double crochets, 1 corner, and then finish up with 8 double crochets. So because I'm going to be using white yarn, I've just put a little bit of blue paper down so you can see what I'm doing, as it won't show up very good on the white surface. So what you're going to do first is you're going to make your slip knot. When you have your slip knot, put your hook onto your knot, hold your tail, and then we're going to go ahead and chain 56. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I will meet you back when you have 56 chains. So I've just chained my 56, and now what you're going to do is chain 2 more. 1, 2. And now we're going to start on the yoke. So you're going to ignore the loop on the hook. You're going to skip 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th chain, going to make a double crochet. And if you don't know how to make a double crochet, I have a video, I will link it in the description, and that will show you how to make a double crochet. Right, so back to the yoke, and as you can see, we've just made 2 double crochets, as the chains that you skipped in the start cast as a double crochet. So 2 double crochets into the next chain, 3, into the next, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so we have our 8 double crochets just count back to make sure you have 8 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Into the next stitch we're going to make a corner, so we're going to put double crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to put another double crochet into the same stitch. Just like that. Your corner should look like that. So moving on, we are now going to put in 10 double crochets into the next 10 stitches. So into the next stitch next to your corner will be 1, into the next stitch 2, 3, 4, and I'll meet you back here when you have 10 double crochets. So I've done my 10 double crochets, and into the next stitch we're going to make another corner. So into the very next one, double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and into the same stitch another double crochet. Now we're going to do 16 double crochets into the next 16 chains. So we're going into the very next stitch after the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will meet you back here when you have your 16 double crochets. So I've just completed my 16 double crochets, and now we are going to do another corner. So into the very next stitch, double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet into the same stitch. Now we are going to chain double crochet 10 double crochets into the next 10 chains. So into the very next stitch next to your corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will meet you back when you have 10 double crochets. I've just finished my 10 double crochets. Now we're going to make another corner into the very next stitch. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Now to finish off we're going to make 8 double crochets. Now if you've counted your stitches right, you will have 8 chains left. If not, you may have made a mistake counting either your row of double crochets or your starting chain. So into the very next stitch, 1 double crochet, 2, 3, and I will meet back when you have your 8 double crochets. So I've just finished my 8 double crochets, and this is what your yoke should start to be looking like. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and turn our work. Now we're going to start the bean stitch. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to skip this first stitch that the chain 2 is coming out of. We're going to go into the next stitch, just our hook. We're not going to yarn over, into your stitch, catch your yarn, pull through and pull up a loop. You don't want to have it tight, you want to pull up your loop a little bit, about a centimetre or so, and then we're going to yarn over, go back into the same stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop. We should have 4 loops on the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over again, back into the same stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop, and you should have 6 loops on your hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops, just like that, and then we're going to put chain 1 on top of your bean stitch. Now we're going to skip a stitch because we have to chain 1, and into the next stitch we're going to put our hook into the stitch, catch the yarn, pull up a loop, pull it up a little bit, yarn over, go back into your stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, into the same stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop, 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and chain 1. Skip a stitch into the next stitch, put in your hook, catch your yarn, pull through, pull up a loop, yarn over, put it back in the stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, into the same stitch, pull up a loop, 6 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all loops and chain 1. We're going to do another bean stitch, so skip a stitch into the next stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, back into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, back into the stitch, catch your yarn, pull up a loop, 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and chain 1. Now we're going to skip a stitch before the corner. We're going to yarn over, go into the chain 2 space, and we're going to make our corner, which is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Now into the next stitch next to the corner, going to make another bean stitch. Just like that. And then you're going to skip a stitch into the next stitch, make another bean stitch. Now I will meet you back at this corner when I have made my bean stitches. So I'm back at my corner, going to skip the last stitch and go into the chain 2 space and make your corner. So 1 double crochet, 2 stitches, 1 double crochet into the same chain 2 space. Into the very next stitch we're going to make another bean stitch. Now I will meet you at this corner when I've finished my bean stitches. I've just come to the corner after finishing my bean stitches, and we're going to skip the last stitch and go into the corner, into the chain 2 space and make our corner. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Now into the very next corner we're going to make another bean stitch. Into the next stitch, sorry, we're going to make a bean stitch. Skip a stitch into the next one, make a bean stitch. Skip a stitch into the next bean stitch, and I will meet you at the corner. I am now back at my corner. Let's skip the stitch before the corner, going into chain 2 space, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Into the next stitch next to the corner, we're going to make a bean stitch. Right, now I've come to the end and I have this stitch here, and then I have the previous stitches that we skipped in the first chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this very top stitch here, this one, and make a double crochet. So into the top stitch, double crochet, chain 2 and turn your back. So this round is going to consist of double crochets into every stitch, corner, double crochets, corner, double crochets, until you come to the end. So we're going to skip a stitch that the chain 2 is coming out, and into the next stitch we're going to make a double crochet. Into the next stitch, double crochet. Into every stitch we're going to make a double crochet. Try not to skip any of your stitches. If you look closely, you have one stitch there, and 1 stitch there. You have 2 stitches on top of every bean stitch. Now I'm coming up to my corner. Now when you reach your corner, you have got a very last stitch here. Don't forget to double crochet into that. And then we're going to make a corner into the chain 2 space. So again, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into the next stitch. We've got the double crochet from the previous corner. We're going to double crochet into the top of that stitch, and then we're going to resume as normal all the way down. Right. Now what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet into every stitch. When you come to your corner, you're going to remember to put a double crochet into the last stitches, the last and the first stitch, the corners, and then double crochet, corner, double crochet, corner, double crochet, and I will meet you back here. So I've just come to the end of my row, and what we're going to do here is into the chain 2 space, you have 1 chain, 2 chains, into the second chain or the top chain, we're going to make a double crochet. So going into that chain, double crochet, and then you're going to make another double crochet and another 2 chains and 10. Now this is going to be another bean stitch, and it's going to be, for those of you who are changing your colours, it's going to be the last stitch before we actually change our colours. So we're going to skip the stitch the chain 2 is coming out of and go into the next stitch and make our bean stitch. So that's 1. 2. Now we've got 1 more bean stitch for the corner. Now we're going to skip a stitch and make a corner into the chain 2 space. So into the very next stitch next to your corner, I'm going to make another bean stitch. So you are going to carry on with your bean stitches, missing one stitch before the corner, going straight into the next stitch after the corner. So you're going to carry that on all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the chain 2. So I've finished my bean stitches and I'm back at the chain 2. So into your second chain, make your double crochet. But we're not going to chain 2 this time, we're going to change our colours. For those of you who are just doing one solid colour, you need to chain 2. Right, so get your other choice of yarn and we're going to make a slip knot. We're going to put onto our hook, tighten it a little bit, and then we're going to pull through the hook and chain 2. 1, 2, and then turn. Cut this yarn, the white yarn first, just so it doesn't get all raveled. Right, leave a little bit of a tail so you can sew it in afterwards. And then turn, and we are on double crochets. So skip the stitch the chain 2 is coming out of. Into the next stitch, you're going to make a double crochet. A double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will meet you at the corner. So I'm back at the corner and I'm going to put a double crochet into the last stitch before the corner. Then I'm going to make my corner. And then I'm going to go into the next stitch next to the corner. And then I'm going to carry on along with double crochets. And I will meet you back at the corner. I'm back at my corner. I'm gonna double crochet, chain 2, double crochet to make my corner. into the next stitch next to the corner. Right, so I'm going to leave you here to finish this yoke. Now our yoke needs to be 10.5 centimeters. So how you're going to find the measurement out is you're going to fold your cardigan, measure this side, and we're going to measure down this line here where you've been making your corners. So this is going to be a sleeve, this is going to be the chest part, this is going to be another sleeve, and this is going to be the back. So I will measure now where I am. So right now I am at almost, I'd say 7.5 centimeters. So we need to keep going until we have 10.5 centimeters, double crochet, bean stitch, and then so on and so forth, going in your pattern. After you have done 2 purple rows, so double crochet and a bean stitch, you then need to change your colours if your yoke's not big enough by then. So we're going to go white for 4 rows, purple for 2, white for 4 rows, purple for 2. I hope you get that. So I'm going to carry on with my yoke, and I will meet you back here when you have 10.5 centimeters on your yoke. Right, so I've decided to come back to show those of you who are not very sure how to change colours. I've come back to show you another time. So we've just come to the end of our bean stitch. We've got 2 purple rows. We're going to get our colour. Make a slip knot. Pop it onto your hook. And then put it through your purple loop. Oops. Try that again. Put it through the purple loop and chain 2. 1 and 2. Give your purple one a little tug, make it tighter, and then we will snip the purple one, leave a little bit of tail, and then turn your work, and now we're on double crochet row. So skipping the first stitch into the next. So right now I am at, let's just measure quickly, at approximately 8.5. So I've got another 2 centimeters to go, and you should have the same. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish on a bean stitch, so then it will be easier for us to attach together with the double crochet. The bean stitch would be a little bit difficult. So I'm going to leave you here. You shouldn't need to change your colours again before the yoke is finished. So get your yoke to 10.5 centimetres, finishing on a bean stitch, and we will join the yoke together. Right, so I have just finished my yoke and it's all at the right size. Now what we're going to do, also I finished on a bean stitch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to measure the chest. So our chest needs to be 20.5 centimetres. So we're going to measure from one corner to the other corner. Now if it's over, it's fine. We just add one chain underneath the armhole. If it's too small, if it's under the measurement, what you're going to do is, let's say you're 2 centimetres under, you're going to go to your double crochets and you're going to get your 2 centimetres and you're going to measure how many double crochets fit into that 2 centimetres. So 2 centimetres, 1, 2, 3 double crochets. So what you would do then is you would chain three chains here and then 3 chains on the other side. So I'm going to measure mine now, and mine is 24 centimetres. So I'm actually over, so I'm just going to put one chain on each side. Right, so when you're ready, we will carry on. So after your last row, we're going to chain 2 and turn, and now we're on a double crochet row. So we are going to do our double crochets until we get to this corner, and then we will be connecting our yoke. So I will meet you at this corner. So I am at my corner. And what we're going to do now is, into this corner we're going to make 1 double crochet, and then we're going to chain how many chains you need from this measurement that we did. So I need 1 chain, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to get your yoke and fold it together with the next corner. I'll show you. There's your next corner. We fold it together, and we are going to join them with a double crochet into the corner. just like that. And then we're going to carry on with our double crochets across. And I will meet you when you've reached your next corner. So I'm at my other corner. You're gonna double crochet, and then chain how many you need to chain. Fold your yoke and double crochet into the next corner, and then double crochet into every stitch until the end. Try not to miss any of your stitches. And this is what your yoke should look like. Obviously we're gonna sew in our ends. So this is the end of part 1. I will be uploading part 2 in the next day or so. So I hope you will come back and into the next video and carry on with this project. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.